All right.
Size. So I hope that everyone has like a pen and a paper so they can do the exercise, because like together with America we decided to do 2 classes. So the first one will be like a coaching class, and tomorrow instead will be on how to build our personal brand. So I prepared the presentation. Now we have to see if I'm able to share it. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you should.
Partager.
Yeah, just do share screen and.
No. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, it's coming. It says you started it, so I think it's just a matter of seconds, maybe. Wait. For now, it's black.
It's black. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Because. Partager écran. Now you can see me, right?
Oh, yeah, now we see your screen, yeah.
So I just have to find okay, 1 second, I'll find back the presentation and then we should be, okay, ready. Now you see it, right?
Yes, now we see very well.
Okay, so let's start this beautiful presentation. So as America said, first of all, like different experience together. So the first one, I work like for over a decade in digital marketing, and in particular like for startups. Reason why, like my passion is really to build a community, in particular for like new venture. And for me, every person is a new venture. Reason why I also like started this journey with coaching some years ago. And I also founded like an NGO that is called the Young Women Network, that is really about women empowering. So I'm very happy today of supporting here like a future yogi teacher empowerment. And then of course I'm a yogi because I'm a huge fan of America. And I look forward to come back and see you. Like, I mean, if I have to come to New Zealand, I will come to New Zealand next year.
Don't go to New Zealand, I'm in Australia.
I'm in Australia, okay. Because Natal is, yeah, everyone is blocked somewhere. It's unbelievable.
Exactly, okay,
Now,
can't wait.
Yeah, okay. And here you have like a little bit of an overview of what we are going to do in these next 2 days. So, the reason why I decided to start with coaching and then going into digital marketing, it's because what I found it's very important is not only to know how you can market yourself, but really to understand what is your niche, what is your strength, and also how do you want to live your life, and to create a business based on this type of understanding. Reason why we will do like a series of exercise. I hope that all together they end up to 2 hours, maybe less, maybe more, we will find out today. And the first part is about clarify your objective. The second one, it's about define your goal, both in life and in business, and then how to overcome your blockage. Because in particular in coaching, I see that a lot of people start their journey and then they get stuck somewhere because a lot of paradigm that there are in our mind, our concept on how life should be or how to face fear, they come to life. And I hope with some exercise, one America already saw it on Instagram and she asked me to translate it, so it will be in the presentation, to better understand how this trigger can come up and how we can overcome them. And then grow your business is actually like all the sessions that we will be doing tomorrow. So to start, journey towards our authentic self. So I believe that actually yoga and coaching have a lot in common because are 2 different paths, but with the same mission. It is about self-awareness, but also about how we can connect with our true self. So on one side, coaching help us understanding obstacles and challenges, and also like to go and accompany us towards our goal. And on the other side, we have like yoga, that is like a way to unite spirit, physical body, and also assist us to become more aware of ourselves and to connect with our divine nature. So both techniques make us more aware and mindful in very different way. One more with the intuition, and another one more from, like, if you want, talking with our conscious mind, that when yoga classes are over, it's always coming back, hopefully less strong than before. Reason why I think that they go hand in hand. And generally how a coaching journey develops, it's in 4 steps that we will analyze like shortly, but like I hope with one exercise each today. So the first one, it's how to analyze our current situation and define our goals as specific as possible. Because a lot of people, for example, they know that something in their life at the moment doesn't make them happy, but they still didn't define exactly what they want to embrace or reach. So some people, for example, they might say, I don't want to work in my job. But if you ask them, okay, so then what do you want to do? They don't have their ideal clear. And what with coaching and exercise we try to do is really to define what type of goals do you want to achieve in your life, because it's very important to visualize and have clarity. Otherwise, it's like travel without a destination. Can be fun, but can also be very struggling and challenging because you always get lost. And then we go to the second phase, that is understand the challenges, because sometimes we know exactly where we want to go, but like our unconscious block us, meaning that like there are some unconscious thoughts like I'm not good enough, or the other ones are stronger than me, that block the way we can reach our goal. And since I also did a training in neuroprogramming, so NLP, so this is a way that you can actually conditionize, should be in English, condition your mind, and you can really change how the thinking process happens. Because if you think about it, most of the time we think that the way we think, it's a normal pattern, but it's something that like we have been conditioned to, because like our programs are installed in our mind between the 3rd semester of our pregnancy. So now my baby will start to be conditioned in the next month, and after until the 7 years of life. So we have in this period where we mostly live unconscious, basically in our alpha and beta waves brain, that we are completely changing the way and the programs that they will run our life in the future. This is why it's very important to be aware of this type of pattern. If you have any question, anytime, of course, ask me, like if there are some concepts that are not like clear, otherwise I feel like a monologue, I don't know. Okay, and then 3rd step is how to plan and stick to it. So how to find way to stay motivated in reaching this goal and to always stay on track without sabotaging our goals. And then last goal, it's of course like reach one milestone that is not the end of the journey, but it's one step that we would like to reach. And then reflect on the journey, iterate, and keep improving, because as life, also in coaching, and I think everywhere, it's always like a process of keep learning and developing ourselves. So we have never really completed. And this brings me to the exercise that we will explore today. So each exercise, it's about one area of these 4 steps. The first exercise, it's called the Wheel of Life, and it's about the first area. So how we can clarify our objective. Unfortunately, last year we didn't have time to do all of them because we just talked about, but I think that to really embrace this session and understanding, I think it's also important that we take 10 minutes each to try to do it, knowing that like it's an exercise for yourself, and also that you can always go back to this exercise in the future and change them. So the first one is called the Wheel of Life. Then we have two exercises that will help us to understand ourselves, but also to think big and think really what we want to achieve in our life. And then there is another one that is the last. It is more than an exercise, it's really a theory in coaching. It is the one of the life script, where we actually see this type of program that we install in the first years of our life, because despite the fact that we are billions on this planet, there are around 60 scripts that people keep running inside themselves. And the ones that are very, very common are about 6. So we will see some of them to see if they resonate with us, because I think when America saw it, she really liked it, because maybe some scripts, they resonate with people that you know. I was interested to see that you liked it. And now we can start with the first one. So as you can see, in the first one, we try to analyze our life at 360. So most of the time, we always focus on some area, maybe because they go really well or they go really bad. But instead, we should look at our life at 360 and really see what is working and what is not working. So the first exercise is the following. You have here on these slides the different part of our life. So different wheel of life have different type of area. But this is the one that is more generic. So you have personal development. So about like the area where you grow, you learn, you start new interest. And then you have finances. So of course, like our financial freedom, like everything about money, that it's a topic that women never want to talk about, but it's very important, because without that, we cannot get our freedom. And then it's about health. Play, that is everything about like just have fun and enjoy our life, because like also here, like not everyone consider this as an area of life, but we should also have just time to chill. And then we have social life. So it's about like, of course, like going out, friends. Then we have family, that is our like close family, our home, that I think a lot of people have revised the concept of home in the last 65 days, when no one thought it was an important factor, and now everyone thinks maybe 30 square meters were not enough. And then creativity. So like how we have the time to really embrace and go with the flow. With the flow, like some people like to draw, some people like to write. And despite the fact that it doesn't look important, like we have like a voice inside of us that want to be shared in the world. And we need to take time to really explore this activity, like with creativity, that let us explore this voice. And then we have relationship, that this one, it's about love, friends, and everyone around us. And I always let people also think about colleagues, or like just people that they meet, because they are like friends, but like the type of friends that you go and have a drink with because you don't want to be alone, but they don't realize how much also this type of relationship impact our energy. So we really need to be looking at everyone around us. And then the last step, it's livelihood. So it's our lifestyle. So how much we travel, how much is like this lifestyle, the one we thought we would have in our dreams, basically. And for each of these areas, we have to give a score between 1 and 10, and also ask 2 questions. What I'm grateful for in this area and why? And what I'm dissatisfied with and why? Because the goal is really to understand for each one of them what I want to get rid of and what I actually find that is the reason why brings me happiness and I want to attract more of them. So for example, I don't know, I'm grateful for the yoga teacher training in my personal development because let me explore a new area about myself. So why this is important for me? Because for me, developing my curiosity is something important and I want to always be curious in my life. So I know that curiosity is something that I really value. So the reason why this exercise is important, it's really to help us clarify what are the areas that I want to work on to remove them, and what are the areas that instead I want to let them become the core of my vision. So I hope it's clear. Give me, do me a thumbs up if it's clear. Okay, good. And so if you have a paper and a pen, we can try to do it in, I don't know, I think 10 minutes should be enough. Just like maybe also 15 if you want.
I think 10 minutes is enough. Yeah,
okay.
maybe even less. When I'm done, I'll call everybody. So when I finish, everybody needs to be finished.
Okay.
We'll do it this way. Yeah, otherwise it's gonna be difficult to know when everybody's finished. But I think 10 minutes is enough. Yeah, okay. We have Gabri, Alice in the house. I'm just promoting them as panelists. We have 25, 26 friends. Bhakti Prema teachers. Okay.
Teresa?
Yeah.
Can you repeat play? I missed.
Yeah. And so it's everybody and everything about the time we chill, basically. So like the time just like enjoy time without having a real plan for that time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure everybody's marks have been impacted by coronavirus right now, right? Like even when I'm thinking about so many areas of my life that have been impacted so much. And I don't know if I have to like, you know, like everybody's finances, I'm sure have been affected by this, right?
But I think it's important because it's actually like a point in our life now. So I think it can be affected. And for example, it's, I don't know, before it was 10, let's say, and now it's 8. But there is a lesson why you're dissatisfied and it's not 10 anymore. Then maybe it's a learning for the future. So here we are really trying to get, okay, so what did I learn? Why am I dissatisfied now that I wasn't before? So like, I think this is why it's very important to do it in this period, because it taught us so much about ourselves and about uncertainty.
Oh my God, the social life one. Oh, that's terrible. I think for everybody.
But I think it's changing.
Oh, I don't know. Well, not much for me in Byron Bay. I don't really know anyone.
No, yeah, but it's changing also how we relate to people.
Yeah, so webinar with everybody muted, so it feels like a monologue. It's not my ideal for social life. Or teaching yoga classes where I have to mute people. It's so weird, Teresa, trust me. Oh God.
Without adjusting.
Without adjusting, without smelling people, yeah, without knowing if they're laughing at my jokes. Or it's just...
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Oh my God, can't wait to go back to teaching actual yoga shala. Yeah, can't wait.
Can I ask, do you only get to use like the number once? Or like, so let's say I give something an 8, can I only use 8 once? Or can I?
No, as many times as you want.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Teresa, can you just repeat what is livelihood? I didn't get it.
Like, yeah, it's like lifestyle. So how much like we travel, like it's everything about like, yeah, the type of lifestyle that we would like to have. I don't know, lifestyle for some people might be even like clothing, places that they go to, type of like where you spend yeah, like your life. I don't know if it was clear.
Yes, very clear, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Teresa, because I was a bit late, so maybe you explained all of them. But play, what do you mean?
Yeah. Ciao, Gabriella.
Sì.
Yoga with Gabrielle.
Because from here I cannot see. So play, it's about like the time that like you take yourself for yourself, just to chill, go out, have a walk, or I don't know, like play around. The time that you don't have like any things to do for yourself.
That you do nothing, like ozio.
Exactly.
And again, sorry, livelihood.
Hey, it's lifestyle. So I don't know, the type of travel that you do, the type of places that you go to, the type of like environment that you live in.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, it's almost 10 minutes, yeah, Terry, and I am finished. So,
So I don't know if for everyone is good. Like as I mentioned it before, like I think it's a good tool also to look back after, because at the end of the day, we will also have an exercise to prepare us for tomorrow. And I think like this exercise together, these 4 exercises, they really like hand up to each other to really bring clarity to our life. Because what I felt, and in particular people who start this coaching journey learn, is that sometimes we feel lost, but with little tools, some areas become more clear. So I hope that this exercise was useful. How did you find it? Someone found some area that like they didn't expect to like rate in certain way, in a positive or negative way? I don't know if someone.
Yeah, I think actually social life for me was surprising, because actually in contrast to America, I feel like mine's got better during coronavirus.
really, how did you get up? How did you make this miracle? Come soon, tell us.
Well, I think like a lot of things about London that make socializing difficult, like you have to plan, you know, like 3 weeks in advance. Everywhere takes an hour to get to. And now like everyone's at home, so I just go outside, meet my neighbors, we like have like aperitivo, like separated from each other, and you know, friends are like contacting me and saying, while I'm in my pajamas, and saying, oh, do you want to just do a video chat? And before in London, you know, that spontaneity wouldn't have been there, so it's quite nice.
But it's interesting because a lot of people also like they don't like the type of people that they surround themselves. So this happened with the 2 coaches of me. They don't want to go out anymore because they realize, oh my God, my energy, it's so much better than before. So you can really see how life is different for everyone. Okay, so next exercise, let's see. Okay.
Just a second, Terry, go back to this one, because some people just entered, because I'm taking care of entering people. If you just enter like juicy or whatever, just take a screenshot of this and then you can do it afterwards.
Yeah,
it's an
but I also prepared, like you, like after I'll give you the link to download all the slides, because I think it's like something useful also to do it like exactly as we said before, later, and to analyze. So for those who entered just now, so this was an exercise to clarify what is our life right now at 360. So what we really enjoy and what we really are looking for a change. And this drives us to the next exercise that instead it's called how we can design our life outcome. So it's already more about, now we understood what we actually would love to have more and what we'd like to have less. So how we can transform all this information in an actual goal that is in different area of our life. As I mentioned before, since I know that like for women, it's very difficult also to talk about money, it's also included. So we have 4 areas. And now let's take a piece of paper. Okay, so we have 4 areas. For each one of them, we will have around 3 minutes.
Are you keeping the time, Terry? You keeping the time, yeah?
Yeah, I'll keep the time. I have the phone. I'm prepared. So, and we have to reply to certain questions for each one of these areas. The first one is lifestyle. So, where do you want to be doing? No, clearly there is a spelling mistake. What do you want to be doing? How much time do you want to do it? Who do you want to spend your life with? and how does your ideal day look like? And this is important also, the first part about like lifestyle, because I think there are a lot of people in this quarantine, but always in life, they also realize that they have multiple talent. So like we always have this idea that you have to become, I don't know, a pianist and only play the piano 15 hours a day because you only reach success through that. Instead, a lot of people find much more enjoyable to do different things, or to have like a slow lifestyle, meaning that I only want to work 4 hours a day, earn a little bit less, but then enjoy the rest of my time. And this is important to understand, because the next step after, they will be basically relying on this understanding of the type of lifestyle that we want to achieve. So 3 minutes, okay, 35, at 38, I'll bother again. Okay, last minute. Okay, next area. I don't know, are we ready? Can we move to the next area?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, actually I prepared 5 minutes each, but anyway, okay. Impact, because like, I think this is an area that in particular people who do yoga or are really interested in personal growth, they really already understood the importance in life to give and also influence others people's life, because this is a part that like, it's called, for people who want to develop resilience, our area of genius. And we only can really access this area if we let our life be driven by the impact that we want to have on the others. So for the next 3 minutes, we will gonna answer these 3 questions. The first one is, what difference do you want to make in the world? What do you want to change? So when it's not clear already exactly what we want to do, it's also useful to realize what actually are the issues that we are not okay with and we want to actively change. So what do you want to change and what frustrates you? And the last question is, what do you care about? So this, what is really important for you to work on now? Okay, 3 minutes. Other 30 seconds. Okay, so third area. I see still people writing, so I'll wait another few seconds. Go. So this is the area that I think everyone struggle with, but I think it's really important that if we know the type of lifestyle that we want to have and the type of impact that we want to make, that we also don't underestimate the importance of like the finance. So how much money do we need to keep by? So just like for our basic living, how much would you like to earn on the other side? How much your time is worth? And what would you be happy with? Also, another spelling mistake. Why it's important to have this in mind? Because, for example, I worked with a lot of people that they actually wanted to cut and have a slow lifestyle, meaning that they want to work only 4 hours per day. But then on the other side, as like, for example, a new entrepreneur or a new coach, they were scared to ask for a certain amount of money to their clients. So when they did this exercise and they start making a little bit of math, they realized, okay, I have a problem, because actually I cannot live with the amount of money that I could make by only working 4 days with this type of rate. So I think it's important, in particular when we really want to visualize and manifest a certain goal and make it feel real, that we know that we are working with like towards something that is actually like feasible then to live with. So I think it's like now other 3 minutes, important to really reflect on how much do we need and how much would we be willing to ask to make this dream come true. Okay, repeat in 3 minutes.
Can you repeat, what do you mean by the fourth question?
Yeah, because there is a spelling mistake. Would you, with how much would you be happy with?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. And now we move in the last area. There is emotions. So, what feelings are important for you to have in your life? What activity best creates this feeling in your life? And how do you want to see about your job? How do you want to see your job, I guess? It's like, and I think like now that we did the wheel of life, I think that there are already from that exercise some emotions that you really learned that they are important for you to keep in your life. So it's important to realize and to use this type of paper and this next 3 minutes to write them down and reflect always on the type of emotions you would like to go and sleep with. So what you really want to fill your life with. Last 3 minutes.
Daddy, can you explain number 3? How do you want to see about your job?
Yeah, sorry. So like it's like what type of emotions do you want to see in your job?
Okay.
Yeah, I will revise the presentation before sending it to everyone and change the spelling mistakes.
Hey, don't be a perfectionist now.
Okay. And with this part, we like finish this part of the exercise. So I don't know if someone wants to share their experience, if they found like that there was some areas of this life that like they like change the perspective on, or like if there was some questions that was very difficult for them to reply. I see that many are actually still writing. I don't know if someone wants to share, or do you just want to move on?
They're being shy. Oh, Helen
I
wants
c-
to
yeah,
share.
Yeah.
I could share something that I feel very privileged to think about these things, because I thought that there must be many people who have to work a lot because that's how they need to survive. So
Yeah.
that's what I really like those exercises. I think they're great for that. I feel good, but what about those people who need to survive?
Yeah, but maybe there was also here like an area about the impact, because if you feel so grateful, maybe there is something that you can think about. Okay, how can I give back in different ways, in particular in this moment? So I think this is why they go together, because they really let us think about what the world needs and how we can contribute. And I think at the end there was, okay, so now we move in the third area of this coaching journey. So as we mentioned at the beginning, the first plan was to clarify the goals. And the second one, I don't remember anymore actually. No, the first one is to clarify. The second one is to understand what is going on in ourselves and start to visualize. And now we go in the third step, that is more about really how to plan. Because a dream without a plan is just a wish, and a plan without a dream is just a task. So actually, no, now I remember, the next exercise is to dream even bigger, because it's called the obituary, or obituary. So what this exercise would actually ask you to do is to bring this 4 area to your life to an even bigger step, and think big, because like if in the last part of this coaching exercise we really want to understand what it takes to reach our goal, we really need to be clear on what are our goals. So this can be a bit like difficult for many people. Reason why, like, take it just as like a stream of consciousness and write down what would you like to be written when in 150,000 years we will pass away, and people will write something about us and about our life. So what is important is that we write whatever comes to our mind, and feel it, yes, like a stream of consciousness. So don't overthinking, do not edit, censor, analyze, or criticize these thoughts that come up. And this one, like, maybe we should even take a little bit more of time, but there are these questions that are very important for us to clarify. So what and who do you want to impact? In particular, like after the exercise before, now it should be really be clear what type of impact we want to have in the world, and also who we were at our core. So what type of characteristic and traits, value did we have and we want to be remembered for? So was this person, I don't know, energetic, positive? What is that we want to leave as really characteristics in this world? And who did you care for? So like even be like more details that the impact question at point number 1. It's also like identify who are the people that you want to have impact. This can be like both people in your surrounding, or I don't know, if you want to like have a business, like what would be the people that you want to support with, or even like, you know, on a bigger scale, maybe, I don't know, you want to become a prime minister, like what is the big scale that you want to impact? And also, what were the major accomplishments in your life? Here you can also think, if you really want to go in details, what do you want to accomplish by when? So what did you accomplish by, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, 70, and so on. So if there is something that you really think, okay, this is something that I would like to do by this age or by this age, and what were you passionate or enthusiastic about? So also here, there are a lot of thinkings from the previous exercise. And last one, what was your legacy? So what actually people remembered you for. And I think it's important to think big and imagine possibilities, because many times after doing this life exercise, we try to become very pragmatical. But the truth is that everyone inside of us has already an hope or something that they want to build, and they feel this fuel inside themselves. And this fuel will never go away until we don't accomplish what we are here for. Reason why it's important that we don't judge or censor these thoughts, but we just write them down and we read it. So I think, like, again, you can revisit this one in the future, but like, we'll take 10 minutes and then you can tell me if like what you think and so on. If you want more time, less time, I'm here. I will let the watch start.
Teresa, sorry. Could you repeat what we mean with what was your legacy?
Sorry.
Hi, Terry. Could you repeat what we mean with what was your legacy?
Yeah, basically what you want to be remembered for. So like, I don't know, she was the best yoga teacher, or like really like what is like the title or like the legacy. Alice, giusto?
Sì.
L'eredità che praticamente hai lasciato, cioè si traduce proprio
Ah, eredità, ok, ok, grazie.
I don't know why it's weird because you cannot see the face of who is talking, or maybe I'm not good enough.
You recognize the voices so well, Terry, huh?
Ah?
You recognize the voices without
Only
seeing
the voice, yeah, the people that I don't know, yeah. Funny because I just received a message from Giada.
Oh, really?
After years, see? Synchronicity.
No, I think she's in the group. Why is she not here today?
Ah, I don't know.
Maybe busy. Ma 8 limbs, come si dice in italiano? 8 limbs of yoga. 8 limbs.
Aspetta, vediamo le 8.
8 stadi.
8 stadi?
Stadi in italiano, cioè nei libri italiani è tradotto stadi.
Anche rami. Anche rami.
8 rami? Ok, mi
A
piace.
volte anche rami, l'ho trovato come rami.
Grazie. Questa è Silvia, vero? Io neanche vedo, però secondo me riconosco le voci inglesi.
Sì, la calata romana.
8 rami, mi piace.
America?
Sì? Mi sta chiamando.
Ivana.
Ah, ciao Ivana! Ma c'è il mio topo stupendo!
Niente, te lo volevo vedere perché sono messo proprio qui a dormire.
Di qua, Maia, quanto è bello!
Se n'è andato.
Sto a dormire apposta addosso a te, quanto è carino.
Se no,
Torna,
sono
mi
messo
chiama.
qui a dormire, ok.
Carino. Quanto è bello. Hai visto quanto è bello quel cane? Proprio
Mamma mia.
coccoloso.
Ma ha schiacciato tutti i tasti del computer, l'ha scritto lui.
Sì, proprio.
No, aspetta. Ok, so last minute. Perfect. So I don't know if someone wants to share also here the experience. Who found it like more difficult than they thought? Who found it very easy to do it? It's super funny because in the coaching classes, everyone wants to share. And instead, here I see that like there is a completely like different. I know that maybe like did someone did it already, maybe.
I found it difficult to do the legacy.
Yeah?
Because I feel like it was easier for me to answer some of the other questions when you're talking about like accomplishments or impact or certain things. But legacy is something that I really struggled with that one.
You found it difficult because of the question, or because like it was difficult to summarize a bit all this impact in one sentence?
I feel like I still have not created my legacy. So like, you know, if it's, we're talking about like if something was like my obituary for now,
Yeah.
I don't know what I could really, I mean, I don't know what my legacy would be, you know what I mean? Like obviously the yoga teacher part of it would probably be involved in that for sure, because that's what I do for a living and I moved across the world to do it. But like legacy, I just feel like it's such a big word, like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Also in Italian, it's translated with a big word, but I think it's also something that like help us to think big. So like, I think it's such a stretch that this is the way to say, okay, if I really need to overcome all my fears, what I would like this legacy to be. This is why it's at the end, just like to open up opportunities, because I think it's very challenging. You're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Let's move on then to the last area for this coaching exercise, but then I want to know like your feeling, how are you liking this exercise and so on. So life script. So everything looks so easy. So why we often fail to reach our goal? That's because of our program that we have in our mind, as we mentioned it before, are inside our unconscious mind and are formed in a moment where we actually were not aware. So between the third semester of the pregnancy and 7 years of age. So the solution is to look for pattern in our life. So after we will see slides, but I'm curious if someone maybe already can see some pattern in our life. Analyze the way we think, understand what has blocked us in the past, and then find a very good life coach. That was a joke. But I think that some people already might have realized that something keeps happening in our life. And I can make here a very personal example. So for example, I'm 32 and I think I changed until now 8 jobs in general. And I change 8 jobs always for the same reason. At a certain point, I fight with my boss because I think he's not smart enough. So after the last one, I actually realized that despite I love him very much, there is something wrong in me, because if the same pattern keeps coming up, it means that there is something that I need to learn from this pattern. And until you don't resolve a certain pattern, they still come up, because life just wants to teach us that lesson. And it's important to see why they come up, what is the type of thinking process that happens, why you think that like you're smarter than them, for example, in my case, but you don't have the courage to do what they did. So here, for example, because he's like a super successful entrepreneur, like what is actually the fear that is behind? And this type of like analysis of what happened in the past and what blocked us in the past, it's very key to understand what is happening inside of us that we haven't tackled yet. Because if we don't tackle, this is gonna always come back and block our future goals. Despite the vision is super clear, despite we know exactly our life model, what we want to be remembered for, there is always that moment that we have to tap into the uncertainty. Now, like I think this period was a very good teaching for a lot of us, because maybe we didn't have the opportunity or like the courage to look at some area of our life, and now by chance it just became so clear that we want to change something, and they helped us to find that courage. So what is this blockage in our life? It's like where we need to find the courage. And let's see. So just to explain one of the coaching principles, this is also in psychology used. It's like called the transactional analysis. So basically it's how we do the transaction in our life. So basically how our relationship are built. Let me change process script. Okay. And the scripts are very clear, so this type of plot that we have already built inside our head in the way we talk. And I think that America found these slides that I had in Italian on my Instagram very interesting, because you can see already looking at certain people that some pattern when they talk come up very often. And I will make an example of the script, an example of what happened in our life, how to recognize them, and what is the drive. So basically how we learned this type of pattern. The first one, it's until. So as I mentioned before, there are 6 that are very common. I picked the 4 that are very, very common, but there are around in life, if you look around at all the people, around 60 patterns, even if we are billions of people. So as you can see, we don't develop so different from each other. So the first one is until. So I will not be happy until I find love. Or I cannot quit my job until I don't find another one. And I don't know, maybe you know or see people that have this pattern. They always want to do something, but I don't know why they always find an excuse with the word until inside. So how to recognize them? Because they work very, very hard. They do more than they should because they believe they must be perfect. And you can find this pattern in people where when they were young, at home, there was this idea that they need to be perfect. So you did a good job, yeah, but you could have taken 10. Or you're pretty, but you, if you would be prettier, then, and this type of pattern, maybe like when parents in particular, they want their child to become better and to motivate them without realizing that they are installing in their mind this pattern that is true still now and today. And this is something that I find very, very often in my coaching practice, that people really want to do something, they have this fuel, but they always think, okay, like I first need to get a promotion, and they always try harder, even if it life tell them so clearly, look, it's not working because maybe this is not the journey you were like meant to be on. So this is the first pattern. Then I want to see if some of you like see this pattern in people. Then after, so I can only quit my job after getting enough saving. So you can only do something when you get enough certainty that this is the right choice to go for. So how to recognize them? They are very skeptical, very critical. You can always see every time that you have a dream, they come and they say, but you shouldn't take care of your saving first. Say no. They believe that everything that arrives beautiful in life must be paid for with interest in the future. For example, I wonder how many people told America, oh no, like she's very lucky, but I'm sure she had to do much, much more than we see to reach this, because are people that they don't believe that things can come easier. And also here you can see the drive in their family or in their like history, looking at people that they say, you need to try harder. You didn't succeed, try harder. And this become in our mind something that in life, nothing can come easy. And it's interesting because I don't know how many of you like love the law of attraction or like the spirituality theories, when they think that things need to come in your life when you're ready, and also when they should flow into your life because that's what you're meant to. And this type of people, for example, they really are skeptical about this theory because they really think that the beautiful things can only come if you worked super hard, if you paid your interest, if you sacrificed everything else. And it's a difficult pattern to remove. And then we have the third one that is always. So why does it always happen to me? Or everyone is perfect except me. So there is always these things of thinking that things always happen in a certain way. life always go in a certain way. And they complain, these are people that they complain a lot about the problem, but the only solution that they find is to work harder. So another exercise that we do often in coaching is to show people other options. So for example, like, I don't want to quit my job until I don't have a certain, no, let's make another example, sorry. Why this always happen to me? So really explain them, does it always happen to you? Does it only happen to you? To challenge this type of concept and to show that actually there are different type of options and opportunities in life, because they really like run on this pattern. And these are people that like we can identify but two patterns in their early childhood. There are either hurry up, so something like you should have talked before, you should have like walked before, or be strong. Also, this is very true, in particular, like in certain families that they were very authoritative, very strong. So basically, when the father always say, in particular to men, you don't have to cry, you have to be strong, you cannot let things turn you down, and the fact that they cannot show their emotions changes in the fact that they always need to work harder, and they think that life is so difficult. And then we have like the last pattern, that is never. I can never get what I want. And this is like, I see so many people falling in these four categories. So these are the dreamers. They are convinced that dreams are impossible to achieve, so they never start, or so they never try to get them. And these are people that always try to find a way to make their dreams inaccessible. Something like, yeah, I think I like writing, but writing is something that you cannot live for. And every time that they say something that they actually like to do, they always find an excuse not to reach that dream. And also here, for example, it's a pattern that is very present in parents. They install this sense of guilt in their child. I don't know, this is very common in Italy. That like you cannot leave me alone. The type of parent that they say, you need to do it because then mom is happy. This type of pattern always come back in this type of thinking, that you have to please other people before you, reason why you cannot dream too big. So I'm curious how many people resonate with some of this pattern. Alice?
All of them. Can it be all of them?
No, like, can it be more than one? This is why they are 60. 60 generally comes from the 6. There are 2 missing, and the combination of them then multiplies to the 60. But what I find very interesting, that most of the time when I read it for the first time, I thought, so I'm not the only one. I'm very, like, it's a pattern that actually is very prevalent in the world. Because it's true, like, I mean, everyone, if you think about it, they go not because of their decision, but the type of environment that they grow in, they develop certain type of pattern that they are not so different from each other. It's just that some people realize and decide to overcome, and some other people just decided to stick with it because they think that this is who I am now. So I think this is very important to understand that we are not our program. And I think in this also yoga and meditation help a lot, that we are much more than our ego and conscious mind. And if we take responsibility on who we want to become, who we want that person to be in our obituary, in our life outcome exercise that we did before, then we need to address these points and decide that we don't want to be run by our subconscious mind, but run with intention. And I think this is the last exercise that actually is for tomorrow. because, and then we can go through like, I don't know, some questions, or we can also check a bit what we're doing tomorrow. Because the exercise that I want you really to summarize all these sessions with is to create this famous purpose statement. That is something that is like a concept from marketing, but also works very well in personal branding. So this sentence will help you basically navigate the world of marketing, because marketing, it's a powerful tool, but it's a powerful tool when you do with a very strong intent. So you know the questions to this, the answer to these questions. So after reviewing the exercise for today, so I really think that like some of you might have like learned something more, had more clarity about what they want to achieve and have an impact on. So it's to come up with a mission that will drive our future business with a purpose. So it's not long, but you just have to fill the blank. So it's I help, and it's important to define the type of category that we want to help with. And I think last year, like we did a very explicative example. So I think that, for example, when America moved back to Sicily, she decided intentionally not to focus on Italian people. And I think it's important to know who is your audience, what is the type of people that you want to support, because based on that, you need to shape all your marketing. Because if you want to attract the people that are not around you, then you need to go more online. If there are people that don't speak a certain language, then which language do you want to speak? In particular, like in an audience like us, where everyone speaks a couple of languages, and they need to decide in which area and in which to whom they want to build their marketing channels. So I help the customers that you identified achieve what you would like them to achieve. And also here, it's very important, the reason why we did all this exercise today, to really be clear on the type of experience. I think that there are not two yoga teachers that are the same, because everyone, through their experience and through the missions that they have, they are trying to build a different journey. So for example, I did my yoga teacher training, but I realized that what I really like, I love to do more than teaching yoga, it's about coaching and having this one-to-one experience. So it's important that like, if I want people to grow mentally, I know who are they and how and what do I want them to achieve. And this can be like, also in yoga, you might want to like focus on making them more aware, more sensitive, focus on just like flexibility and a workout. Also there, like it's a super successful business, but it's important to know exactly how you want this business to be. And then, of course, this drives us to the last part, that is through what? So how do you want to achieve this? So it can be like through retreat, online yoga, can be by one-to-one, can be in so many different ways, but only having this sentence complete, it will be very clear tomorrow how to build this personal brand. Because otherwise, this is a mistake that a lot of young entrepreneurs do, for example, is trying to please everyone. And when you say, okay, who is your target audience? But yoga is for everyone. Unfortunately not, because people like people that talk to them. So you need to be very precise in the type of audience that you want. So if you write this sentence by tomorrow, I think we will be very useful to then see how we can reach this goal. And I think, okay. So last part before, like, I don't know if you have any questions, otherwise we can go through tomorrow sessions. So these are all my contacts, and in particular, I will also send it. I prepared a little coaching guide with different exercises from this one, that they always run through the exercise of the 4 steps. So how to clarify our goal, also how to understand our subconscious pattern, how to see the future steps and how to revise what has happened in the past. Because something important with goal that I thought I didn't have time, so I didn't include it in this presentation. Yeah, let's talk about marketing. It's about also to revise what is going on in our life. And maybe some people of you at time now, but generally an exercise that I always recommend is to have either weekly or monthly goals, and to have scheduled in your calendar a meeting with yourself. So for example, I have a meeting with myself every Sunday night at 9, and I journal about the goals of the week. So what happened, what it could have been better, like was I effective in reaching my goal? And the reason why it's important is because we always look in front of us and never take the time to learn from all the experiences and the things we did in the past. Because maybe, like, I don't know, we invested 1 month to grow our, I don't know, online presence rather than, and then we see that it didn't grow at the rate that we wanted. And if we don't reflect on how we can improve in the future, then we just also there run the same pattern and complain that things don't work. But in the analysis, there is always the answers, both for us internally and both for the things that we do. So this was like today's session. So I will post all the link in the group so you can download. And I also have another one where you can download the slides. But like, I don't know if we want to move and see what happens tomorrow, or if you want to share a bit, if you like the exercise, if you found them useful, if you know how to finish the exercise of tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe let's, how do we do this? Wait, how do we stop sharing the screen and see everybody? Wait.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so we can see everybody. I'm sure there might be stuff. Yeah, there you go. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's so weird. Now I know America.
Well, you know more than half of the people in the room, so that's great. Okay, okay, you can actually see all of them if you just widen the screen. So anyone has any comment, anything that came up for them that you want to share with Terry, or any questions as well?
I can share. I think the Wheel of Life was really useful for me, because I guess, like all of us at the moment, you're kind of thinking a lot about the things that are missing and the things that have changed. And you're like, oh, this area of my life is a disaster. But it was actually nice, like I was saying about social life, like that's one that's been an upside for me personally. But yeah, that actually a lot of them are, you know, those areas are still going okay. So it's quite nice to see like that balance, and that actually there's only like 3 or 4 areas that are a disaster.
Room for improvement.
Yeah. But yeah, it was but the last question, I'm just like, oh my god, I don't even know how to but I will come up with something for tomorrow.
But I think, does it help, for example, the exercise that we did before, like the life one, to understand what is the type of impact that you want to do, or maybe you attract also naturally certain type of people. For example, I can make another example. When I started coaching, I did a lot of workshops with other coaches to widen the type of audience. And after the first 2 here in Berlin, I realized that at the end of the workshop, the other person always get more questions than me. And I got super upset. And I said, why no one likes me? What's wrong with me? But I realized that I was talking about self-confidence, and all the people that were coming were super shy. And my energy was very too much for them. So I was like scaring them away. And when I realized instead by starting YouTube that like putting the video, people resonate with that energy, and now they are not scared anymore, I realized that I attract certain type of people and I cannot please anyone. So I'm sure that maybe you look back and you see, okay, this person, this type of person seems to really like the type of things that I do. And I think in life, like if you don't find your tribe always finds you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think with like yoga classes, someone said to me a couple of months ago, like, you know, do the sort of class that you would like to go to, and the people that also like that will find you. And don't worry about pleasing everyone. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, this is important because we always try to please so many people, but then I think it also feels inauthentic at certain times, because I was trying to do this like workshop, very calm, but I think it's just like when you fake it, people say it. So it's better to go full in and to find a way to find the right audience. And tomorrow we will see that there are so many tools to find the right audience. So you don't have to just like find and work with the people around you. There are so many people looking for yoga.
Yeah, I think it's making me think of, there was like one of my favorite yoga teachers, Steffi White. She put up a post like ages ago that was like, she was on a train and she heard, and she's like so popular, you know, loads of people like, you know, she's one of my favorite teachers. She's like a really big yoga teacher, and she was on a train and she overheard some people talking about how like they couldn't stand her voice, like she's so up her own ass, like the listener, and she was just listening to it. She was like, oh my god, you know, like
yeah, see,
and she's like, it's just such a lesson that, you know, not everyone can like you and you just got to accept.
Yeah, Denise wrote, you're not a pizza, you cannot please anyone. True. Yeah, so like
I'll share the post if anyone wants to.
Yeah, that's great. So share it. Terry, I was wondering, you know, that process script, I'm really keen on that one. So okay, so yoga says pretty much the same thing that coaching says. So but instead of calling it conditioning, it's called samskaras, right?
Yeah.
Asanas.
Because I think yoga goes even farther, because they not only consider what happened in this time, the 7 years, but also about past life. And I think psychologists cannot like state anything like this yet.
Right. Although I'm reading a lot of stuff on neuroscience, and it's quite impressive that so they've done studies on rats and primates, that our ability to express certain genes can be passed on from generation to generation. So an example of an experiment that neuroscientists did was they scared a female rat with water, like they put her in water and almost drowned her, so she got really scared and never again went close to the water. This was when the rat was young and she was not pregnant. Then the rat got pregnant afterwards, and her offspring would be scared of going close to water up to 3 generations after the mother had been scared. So that's basically what they were proving, is that the ability to express a gene that makes you scared of water, it's something that is conditioned by the behavior of your ancestors. And in this case, up to 3 generations afterwards. So this is what yoga means when they say whatever happened to your ancestors might have left a samskara or a conditioning into your system, and you're not even aware of it. So in yoga, to break through these conditionings, you have a system of 8 limbs, right? Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and so on, hopefully leading to samadhi. So what's the coaching take on that?
Yeah, no, like personal, this is why at the beginning I said that they are very connected, because I think that like coaching, it's sometimes limited, and maybe like yoga, for example, in my case, could have been limited, but it depends always on the experience of each one. And I'm going to explain more in detail, because I think that what coaching does, it's a lot about asking questions and make you like aware of certain pattern. But a lot of people, for example, with mindfulness coaching, they realize that like through meditation or certain type of activity, by also slowing down their mind, they are more in control of certain pattern. But on the other side, like when, for example, as you know, I practice yoga for a long time, but sometimes if no one would have asked me certain questions, I didn't know that you could also not be afraid of water. I don't know if it was, yeah.
Wait a second, I got lost.
No, I mean like the rats, like I didn't know what life could have been without that pattern. Because like, and I see this often with people, for example, that, you know, also this is very typical in Italy, they live still with their parents, and they like, if they look around and I say, but do you think that everyone does this? They reply, yes, everyone does this, because in their reality, that's the normal. So I think it's difficult to break it if someone doesn't let you realize there are other options. And I think, of course, the 8 limbs make you very, very aware, and this is the key to change.
Can I share something? Because one of the, let's say, questions that you gave about the lifestyle,
yeah,
like something that really hit me, let's say, because it was the third one, who do you want to spend your life with? And for me, it's always been, probably as Italian as well, and with all the guilt that we have of being abroad, and I guess lots of have this feeling. Really, for me, I look at it and then I write down, and I don't know. It's so hard because it's like I'm splitted, and I know that subconsciously, but then when I have to write it down, it's like yeah, I don't know. It's when they ask you the question so directly.
Yeah.
It's very, I don't know, it's very good to...
But I think, yeah, this is one of the parts why I think it's so powerful as a tool, these coaching questions, because there is a reason why you're not writing them down. That maybe either like you think that this is your heart or your head speaking, but this is not something that you truly believe in. And so there has to be some type of reason why you don't want to write it down. So I think that through yoga or coaching, like the fact of being aware of not doing certain things and why, and always asking why, is where the answers and the key to freedom is stored.
Why? Okay. Yeah.
Because I don't know, but just to make an example, someone can say, I know what I have to write down. Why do you need to write down that word? Because you think that this is what like a normal person would do?
No, it's just that I'm tear apart because of course I have my life abroad, but I have my life back in Italy, like my parents and whatever. And sometimes I really struggle with this thing, like it's a daily guilt, feeling guilty being away. So when I really comes to who do you want to spend your life with, it's very difficult for me, at least.
It's not the place, it's about the people.
Yeah, it's about the people. Of course, the place, it could be wherever. If my parents would be here, I would be happy. But yeah, it's that thing is hard. It's just, but it's a good way to take it.
I think it's like another, going back to the America point, I think that coaching and yoga have the same word, that is explore. When you get in a new pose, that she always tell you, explore this pose, see how it feels. And I think this is something that we do with our body, that we also have to do with our minds. So like in that pose, maybe some feelings come up, and this fact that we are exploring and becoming more aware, it's yeah, very interesting. I don't know if there are other questions. Now I will see everything that Nedi, she was the name of the girl from yesterday, right?
Nidi, yes.
I mean, she went through, because I don't want to talk about the same topic, but yesterday, unfortunately, I couldn't make it.
Like your own website and things that your own website should have. And,
okay.
Yeah, so it was very specific. She didn't speak about social media, so I'm sure if you speak about social media, I told you, yeah. And the girls have some questions on YouTube, obviously, because everybody's now going online.
Yeah.
And I said, you're the perfect person to answer that because you have a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to send it to the girls in the chat so they can.
Everything in Italian except the new Instagram that I created.
Oh, you have a new Instagram, Terry? Oh.
Yeah, for future plans. But like, I will send everything. But also, if you have like, so tomorrow we will talk about the personal branding, so social media. Let me see actually. But if you have specific questions, I asked in the group from last year. So they told me also about landing page, lead generation. So I included some of them, like with CRM. But if someone has a more specific question about, like, I don't know, certain tools, certain issues, like I will post on the Facebook groups, and then you can just comment, and I make sure that everything is included.
Perfect. Yeah, I think so.
But I hope it was useful.
Oh my God, it was amazing, Terry. Like, so insightful to just sit with ourselves for 2 hours and look inside. I don't know if anyone wants to share anything. I just found it amazing, and I've done some work like this before, but it was so good because this is such a different time in our lives. Everything is changed, and yeah, personally it made me value a lot of things that I'm grateful for, and I shouldn't complain so much. Well, I don't complain much, but you know, things are good. So no, it was a very good, very useful exercise. Yeah.
But the questions that I think everyone asked you already, except me. But do you have a flight back?
No, I don't. There is no flight. So I mean, you cannot fly from Germany. Imagine if I can fly from Australia, right?
No, but like in July when they will start, would you plan to go back?
No, my plan, my hope is to come back at mid-June. I think realistically mid-June should be possible. Yeah. So I hope Floripa is up and running in July already. And August is when all the Italians will have holidays. And we're starting to get some requests by Italians for the summer. And many foreigners are booking September and October. So we might prolong the season to November as well, because we didn't really start it in time this year. Yeah. And but for now, I'm moving online everything. And tomorrow I'm announcing my first teacher training in Italian.
Oh.
Yes, finally, after all these years. I'm doing teacher trainings online. So it's okay, I can work from here and I love it. So it's not, it's not a bad place to be trapped into, but I'm getting a little nostalgic because I've been away for 6 months already.
Yeah. No, I cannot. I think in June you can come back. They are opening everything. Germany is opening everything.
They're opening everything, the stores, the shops, the restaurants, even here, but the frontiers are still closed. Australia is not letting anyone out and no one in. So
yeah. And
I officially overstayed my visa, by the way.
Yeah, they don't count anymore. It's fine.
They don't count anymore.
So I don't know if someone else has questions.
Okay, looks like everybody is
angry, I'll tell you.
I wanted really to thank, because I could keep going like for another 2 or 3 hours. It was super interesting, the topic, and I think I will rewatch it once again and go through all the exercises, because apparently like these topics can be contemplated deeper and even maybe on the regular basis. So maybe my question, or maybe just my curiosity, when have you started, or what's your story? If you can
for the coaching. So I mean, if you're interested, like I think like things go through your way. You don't always know why, but then you start to realize. So when I was 21, I quit my first job for the reason that I was mentioning before, in London. And I came back to Italy. And one of the reasons why I was quitting this job is because I found it very male dominant. And so I started this NGO to empower women. And in this journey, I went through a lot of coaches, because like we had to hire coaches to train women. And that's where I realized that this exercise was super powerful. But at the time, I didn't want to go into coaching as a career. So I started to take little courses just to explore. And then I think it's like in life, and then you explore and you like it, and then you start to take the first moves. And then 2 years ago, I did my first full certificate, and now I'm going through the ECF, that is, I think, like a Yoga Alliance. I think that, but like, because it's like yoga, like you become a teacher, but then you need to grow in these hours to become a teacher, master teacher, super powerful teacher. And this year, I really realized that like, this is something that really makes me like satisfied. And I think maybe it's not always a straight path. Maybe sometimes you also only touch it a bit and then you move away, and then the path calls you back, and then you deepen a little bit. So I think that a lot of people think that they always need to go fully in, but like life is so full of different ingredients that you need to combine. So like for me, it was not a straight line. It took me more than 10 years to say, okay, this is really what I want to do. Mm-hmm. But like, don't worry, Eva, because if you like the exercise, I have another guide full of exercise for you.
I'm gonna subscribe definitely for the for your newsletter.
You're gonna send the slides. I think Juicy can give you the emails of the people that registered for the webinars if you want to send it to them, and we can post it in the Bhakti Prema Yoga Teacher's study room as well. Yeah,
okay,
so
perfect.
access it that way. Yeah, the slides and that your guide, whatever that link. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then I'll see you tomorrow again.
At 10 o'clock. Yes, super excited. Thanks a million, Terry, for doing this. It's so good also to see everyone.
All these people. Yeah.
Adriano, the only brother. All the sisters and Adriano. It's like that.
Always one.
Yes, always Adriano.
I feel like I'm an honorary sister by now. It's actually, it's empowering. Honorary sister.
Is there anyone that hasn't met Adriano in person? I think everybody's met him in a way or another.
Half the people here, I think so, actually. I'm always around Floripa somehow.
Chiharu has a question for you. Do you have any recommendation before I started to do those exercises like we did today? I have problem to neutralize my mind from meeting my inside.
Ah, interesting. Because, for example, some people, first of all, you need to do this exercise generally on your own. Like when I do the coaching sessions, I always give it to do at home, because one of the reasons why our minds talk so much here, it's because they only tell you that you have 3 minutes. There are all these people connected. So it's not like a place that you always might feel safe. But other people also do meditation before, or they do it in the morning after they are very calm in a moment that they know that there is nothing bothering them, and they try to go inside. And also for some exercise, in particular the obituary, a lot of people take a lot of time. When I wrote 15 minutes, I said, okay, because my coachee, they take 15 minutes only to look at the questions. So they think about it, and then they start, okay, maybe I can write something. Because a lot of people are very scared to reply certain questions, in particular in my experience. So just take your time, maybe if you want to meditate, but then if you tap into the flow, the words start to appear.
I have a couple of questions too, but I don't know if we still have time, but it's 3 minutes, okay. I have trouble getting specific. I mean, that's a long-standing problem I have, getting very specific.
Yeah.
When I look at my answer, they're actually very vague. It's not like by next week I want to walk until the next town or something, which would be very practical, something you can quantify in terms of time and performance. So it's very hard for me to get to that stage and a schedule first. So these exercises help because they help me focus. Also the time limit actually too. I didn't finish all the exercise, for example. But in some cases, I could actually at least give an answer. I'm going to redo it. I said, how often would you recommend to redo this kind of thing? And how can we gauge how specific we're getting? Some questions seem very abstract.
Yeah, because like, so if you want, I think in the other guide, there are other two exercises. One is called the SMART goals that maybe you already know. No, it's really about how you can build this goal, because when you have this vision, exactly as you said, most of the people, I don't know what is the trigger here, but a lot of people have problems to imagine, either because like you don't know how to reach a certain goal because you never did it before, you don't know other people that did it, so it's very difficult for your mind to build a journey. And or it can also be that is maybe scaring because you know that in being specific, there might be some compromise that you need to take in other areas of your life. So it's very, it depends, of course, on the different situation. But when you have a goal, something that they let you do in yoga, in coaching, is to write the SMART goal. So you need to be specific, measurable, something that is like attainable in the time limit that you put yourself, something that is like reliable, possible even, and something that is time limited. So like, for example, a lot of people they say, I want to become a full-time yoga teacher. As you mentioned before, it's too generic. So by when do you want to do it? How do you want to achieve it? So these questions that there are in this file, that help you be a little bit more pragmatic, because otherwise it's very difficult to see if you're going in the right direction. And another thing that they do in this exercise is to put milestone. So for example, when I started coaching, like I couldn't immediately, I don't know, leave my job and so on. But I put myself some milestone. Okay, by this month, I want this amount of client. How do I want to get these clients? For example, I mainly coach in Italy, so I had to grow everything online. So I want to get them online. And I had some, this is also connected to the question tomorrow, a KPI. And then every month I look back, but not with judgment, because if you don't achieve these goals, it's important not to take it in a negative way and just ask yourself, okay, why I didn't achieve it? I didn't post as much, the content was not interesting as much, and it's a process. So for example, I sit with these goals every month, but this depends on how much is the time limit for your vision. So for me, it was 1 year to become fully coach. So maybe for other people, it's to build an house in 5 years. So they can also have these like review every 6 months. So I think this exercise can be useful, but I think more than everything, as I mentioned it before, is also to look back and to say, okay, if I didn't achieve it, what do I take out of this situation? Because it's never a failure, it's only a learning. I don't know if it helped though.
Sorry, I muted myself again. Yeah, no, it helped actually. Yeah. Your answer helped, and I'm going to rewatch this session quite a few times, I think.
Okay.
Can I ask Terry just a thing for you? I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking a lot together. We were in the same room, and I love you. Okay, but I have this point because every coaching path talking about that you have a goal, and this kind of point disturb me a lot because I don't want to have a goal. So for me, work with this kind of exercise is hard because I don't have a goal, and I don't know how to explain. It's difficult for me to think about, oh, what do you expect for your life, or what do you want so for me, it's very hard to understand and to work with this kind of
I think
matter.
it's interesting because there are actually two, for example, also here, 2 points that are connected. First one, what do you define as a goal? Because from what you say now, a goal, it's a mission in life, but a goal can also be like, I mean, my goal now, it's not to put more than 1 kilo per month, otherwise my gynecologist get upset. So it doesn't have to be something that changes your life. Can also be something very small. So can be a goal, I don't know, spend more time with the people you love. So it doesn't have to be something life-changing. And the second trigger that I get, it's also about why you don't want to have a goal in your life. Because the first 2 steps about coaching, if we go back at the slides, they say about clarify your life and look at the program in your mind. Because most of the people that are afraid of setting goals are also people that are afraid of failing at reaching them. So maybe you don't have to work on how to achieve a goal, but what stops you from setting a goal. So I think it depends a lot on who you are and which of the 4 areas are more relevant for you. Because some people are more away from the goal, and some people instead, they have everything already set in their life and they just need someone that gives them a little push to do the extra step. So this is why it's a generic presentation, but then it changes for everyone.
Okay, I understand you.
I found a neighbor. Cirao. I'm going to Schoneberg tomorrow. Okay, but if you have any other questions, I also post in the presentation, there is also the email. So always send me messages, I'm happy to help.
Okay, Terry, everybody's saying it's going. Some people have children, some people have work. So we're going to close here.
Thank
Thanks
you.
See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock, everybody. Yeah?
Thank you, very nice seeing everyone. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Bye.
And the slides and the links. Ciao.
Ciao.